2023. Mother Gaia, third dimensional planet, ascending. Thank you from the Sacred Light Broadcast Network and Sacred Light Productions for tapping in and tuning in to all live and replay content, holistic, conscious, for your empowerment. Tap in to the Christ light within. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember that you are the one that you have been looking for. Enjoy this content. If you would like to collaborate or receive production through myself, Marcus Christolight, direct message or email me at marcustut23@gmail.com to discuss details. Wholeness and balanced love. Ashe.
Welcome to Ascending Beyond Limitations. Knowing that we can, it's all right to know, let's put it this way, that once upon a time, there were things that we saw limits about from a story that our parents told us, or what we learned from school, or just growing up thinking that everything had a limit. But when we ascend beyond the limitations, that means we open our mind to options. When we ascend to the mental frame of not just body, mind, soul, but what's more out there, right? What is out there that we can reach for, right? Here is the Kabbalion, or the one that this is I think the small edition that I got. But nonetheless, it's the Hermetic Philosophies, 3 Initiates, Centenary Edition. Chapter 4, it says, under and back of the universe of time, space and change is ever to be found, the substantial reality, the fundamental truth. Substance means that which underlines all outward manifestations, the essence, the essential reality, the things in itself, etc. Substantial means actually existing, being the essential element, being real, etc., etc., etc. Reality means the state of being real, true, enduring, valid, fixed, permanent, accrual, etc. Under and behind all outward appearances are manifestations. There must always be a sacred, substantial reality. This is the law. Man, considering the universe of which he is a unit, sees nothing but change in matter, forces, and mental states. He sees that nothing is, and that is capital I, capital S, but that everything is becoming, capital BECOMING, capital, all the letters, and changing, capital, all the letters. Nothing stands still. Everything is born. Everything is being born, growing, dying. The very instant a thing reaches its height, it begins to decline. The law of rhythm is in constant operation. There is no reality during quality, fixity, or substantially in anything. Nothing is permanent but change. Good evening, Sarah. Nothing is permanent but change. Change is, as we can say, the only promise we were given about this journey that we're taking. That's what Ra is trying to explain to us. It's okay to learn it all. It's okay to take it in. What works for you might not work for someone else. So don't beat them over the head with what works for you. Invite them to try it. And if it doesn't work for them, just say, okay, there might be something else. Why? Because change is inevitable. They will be back when they need something that they're changing from. Right? So here we are, book 4. Yes, we are, book 4. All right? And I'd like to thank right now Marcus Christolight for everything he does for us, bringing us here right now, this moment. Over to you, Marcus.
Grand day, everyone. Thank you, Sandee. I appreciate you. And it's good to be in this fresh new live space with you. I know it's been a little while. It's been almost a month or so since we had our last episode 92. And wow, what a journey it's been the last month. I have been to Costa Rica, hosted a retreat out there. I also have been to Georgia and South Carolina to check out my mother's 28 acres of land that she just acquired and is building on, and allowing me to also contribute and build community space on the land in Georgia. So I have definitely been on the wheels and moving, and it's just been a lot of good stuff and a lot of good expansion and growth, and it's really grateful. Costa Rica was really life-changing as well. Just being able to lead a retreat out there and bring fellows from the United States out to a country that they've never been, and then really experience an immersive 5-day retreat together. We went on this beautiful boat ride on this like scenic river, and we got to go stop at 2 different groups of little monkeys, and these monkeys were in the wild too. And the guy who was directing the boat, he knew how to speak to the monkeys. He knew how to have the language exactly to them. And he was talking to the monkeys, and the monkeys would come over to the boat. They would start jumping all over the ceiling of the boat. And then one by one, the guest, including yourself, you'd be able to walk up, and in the front of the boat, you can stand at the front of the boat, and a monkey will climb on your shoulders because the guy will put a piece of banana on your hand, and then the monkey will climb on your shoulders to grab the banana. So you can get pictures with the monkeys. You can actually feel them touching you and connecting with you. and it was just really beautiful. And then on top of that, we got to see a sloth. We went to a beautiful waterfall, and then we did a cacao tour as well. We did like an actual chocolate cacao tour from start to finish on the whole process, the ancient history, and we got the hands-on make it as well in Costa Rica. So it was a wonderful time. And of course, the beach is there and the ocean. It was just such a rejuvenating and mind-opening time, that's for sure.
Congratulations. Congratulations. This is growth and evolution that you've been talking about since I met you. I can't believe it's 4 years since I met you on Instagram. I cannot believe how growth and evolution, you know, feels like just a blip in time, right? It feels like you it feels like, wow, has that much time passed? I was enjoying myself, right?
Yeah. Wow, 4 years. That's amazing. And I know for Sarah Broadhead in the comments, I know it's been about 3 for her and the relationship of our journey. And the Sacred Kingdom as well has been around for about that long. And there was different phases of the Sacred Kingdom, different members. And Sandee, you were around for a lot of that too. Wow. It has really been a journey of these last 4 years. And I gotta say, we've been really staying at it. We have really been staying at it. And look who it is. Another
Hey,
brother
Logan.
from there, Logan. Logan's from that 4-year club too.
From that 4-year club, yeah. It was a lot of us learning about our light language, about our callings, about where we thought we fit in and where we, all our growth in our processes, and finding out, that, we were called to, maybe help each other, and then we're on the rest of the journey, because there are a lot of us that moved on to other things. And even though we don't hear from them, even though they're not in our presence, it doesn't mean that they've died off or they're any of that. That just means that they've grown or moved into a different part of the dimension. And it might not be meant for us to truly interact with each other at this point. We're all growing and expanding and being called. And this is what Ra is trying to get us to understand, that it took them, and I'm going to just use the word that Ra wants me to use, millenniums in terms of time, to achieve being a 6th density being. And that was at the time that these books started to be channeled and written. Ra had been experiencing Earth consciousness for 15,000 years. Not 1,500, 15,000 approximately. And when he gave that time, it was based on how humans see time. To them, it was a blip in, on their radar. Earth consciousness was moving fast and growing fast and evolving fast. For us humans, we are learning that it took 15,000, beyond 15,000 years before mankind existed. Time before the dinosaurs, time when it was just the consciousness of Earth seeking itself through flowers and through the mist and through 1,000 volcanoes that erupted and created darkness across the sky, and then grew or evolved more so that we could be present. Ra says we've been here, we've been seeing what is evolving for you. We can't give you all the detail because then you won't make decisions for yourself. You'll be too afraid to. Somebody tells you this is all a matrix system and everything is part of the matrix, and then everybody's afraid. They don't want to live. So if you know it's a matrix and you've got the power over the energy that is here to create for you, what are you going to do? That's all Ra wants you to know. What are you going to do with the information that Ra is giving you? Ra can't tell you what to do. They can't tell you how to use it. They can tell you this is how it came to be. But us humans, we're so busy being constricted by how it got here, how a giraffe became a giraffe, how a lion became a lion, how a man became a man. How many cycles did it go through for us to become a man? And we're so fixated on that past that we skip our now. And all Ra wants you to do is see your now and take everything that they're teaching you and any other channelers are teaching you and bring it into your now. Just bring it into your now. Are we ready to go? I'm ready to go because I haven't seen you guys for at least six weeks. I'm saying I've missed you.
Yeah, I have missed you. I missed the space. I missed the comments. Oh, look at that. Sandra is total boss. So inspired with your embodiment.
Thank you,
Love
Logan.
you, Logan. Oh, man. See? Oh, yeah. This is why we come back every time we're ready and open to come back. We might be a little busy sometimes, but we'll always be back, whether it's a month later or next week. Children laughing, playing downstairs.
Yes.
Aw.
We can be like children. Have you ever watched children just play? Even the children in this now moment that we have with so many of our adult perceptions that we put out on them, they still play regardless. And that's what we came here to do. We came here to play. We're energy in these bodies that came here to play and be part of this earthly experience. This earthly experience. And then the divine said, I'm going to give you all the tools, and then I'm going to send some of my best peeps to give you a cheat sheet. It doesn't matter whether the cheat sheet comes in 5 books, like the Law of One, or whether it comes in 1 book, like the Divine Design, or any of the other books, even the Bible. Right? Even the Bible before it was kind of pulled apart and manipulated. And guess what? The people that pulled that Bible apart, that was part the divine said, let it be so. That's what you want to do with it. Let it be so. That's how you want to believe Jesus. Let it be so. Because that was part of the story, part of the journey. It was part of my journey to go from a kid constantly asking, what now? Breaking down everything that didn't seem right to me so that I could be open to something else that might be better. And then when that wasn't good for me, saying, okay, this isn't fitting the narrative anymore. What more? And breaking that down. That's what this chapter 4 of this was talking about. Change. It's the only promise that the divine gave you. When you have an awakening, whenever your awakening is, it does not and will not be the same as anyone else's. Why? Because change is always occurring. You're always growing. You will never stay in the same vibrational moment from the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep. Your next now moment when you wake up, you may call it tomorrow, but when you wake up, that's going to be a whole different vibration. Right? So let's get going. The questioner says, and I know it's been about 6 weeks, but this is based off of the last couple of paragraphs. So the questioner says, the fourth archetype is called the Emperor and seems to have to do with experience of other selves and the green ray energy center with respect to other selves. Is this correct? I am Ra. This is perspective. The broad name for archetype 4 may be the experience of the mind. The tarot, you find the name of Emperor, right? Because before we were talking about the tarot. These questions were coming from these archetypes. And already you heard the green ray energy. I know Marcus is wiggling in his seat. Okay. Again, this implies nobility. And in this case, we may not see the suggestion that it is only through the catalyst which has been processed by the potentate consciousness that experience may ensue. Thusly, the conscious mind, ennobled by the use of the vast resources of the unconscious mind, this instrument, docile side grows stiff. The docile side grows stiff, and the instrument tires. We welcome one more query. The questioner says, I would like to ask the reason for this session having been longer than most previous sessions, and also if there is anything that we can do to make the instrument more comfortable or to improve the contact. The instrument was given far more than the, shall we say, unusual amount of transfer energy. There is a limit to the amount of energy that this type, which may, with safety, be used when the instrument is itself without physical reserves. This is inevitable due to the various distortions which we mentioned previously in this working, having to do with growing dorsal discomfort. The alignment of fastidious are fastidious. We appreciate your consciousness. In order to enhance the comfort of the instrument, it might be suggested that careful manipulation of the dorsal area be accomplished before working. It is also suggested that due to the attempt at psychic attacks, this instrument will require warmth along with the right side of the physical complex. This has been some infringement, but it should not be long lasting. It is, however, well to swaddle this instrument sufficiently to ward off any manifestation of the cold in physical form. I am Ra. We leave you, my friends, in love, in the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth, therefore, merrily rejoicing in the power and in the peace of one infinite Creator, Adonai. Over to you, Marcus. Here we go about the green ray.
What he said. Ashe.
Ah, yes.
The green ray. All right. All right. Here we go. Let's get into it. This is straight off the Copilot, right off of Google or Bing. Nothing fancy for you guys. So this is a very simple technique and tool you guys can use in your everyday life. Just go onto your search bar, whether it's Copilot, Google, Safari, or a private encrypted website. Go on there and go ahead and type in green ray of light or green ray of divine light. You can type in green ray of divine light attributes or green ray of divine light characteristics. Then you'll get something like this of its nature to come up, nice and in depth for you and simple. The green ray of divine light is the fifth of the 7 rainbow rays in metaphysical and esoteric teachings, symbolizing healing, truth, wholeness, and the integration of the body, mind, and spirit. The core meaning, the green is associated with healing, physical, emotional, and spiritual restoration, truth, alignment with divine and universal truth, wholeness, the completion and balance of the self, science and knowledge, the crystallization of understanding into practical wisdom, abundance and music, harmonizing life with natural rhythms and creative expression. So now I want to share something with you guys regarding the chakras. So when we look at a chakra diagram, say we're looking at this diagram right here. Okay, so we're looking at this diagram right here of the chakras. And as we look at it, the heart is right in the center of these 7 chakras. So with that being said, with it being number 4, that means it is the balancing energy center that balances the 3 that is beneath it, the 3 that is above it. And that is why we call it the heart center. That's why it is also known that the heart is where it contains the soul. It contains the earth life and also contains the heavenly life, balanced together inside of your human being. So with that being said, that's where the wholeness comes in. if we go back to the text here, it talks about wholeness, truth, the completion and balance of self. So the balance of self is the balance of our 7 material world energy centers. Another thing is it talks about being able to use divine and universal truth, understanding into practical wisdom as well. And you think about that with the chakra aspect. Your lower 3 chakras are kind of like what we call our primal or animalistic earth energy. So it doesn't really have the higher intelligence controlling it so much as the higher chakras do. It's more raw energy from the earth. But then the upper 3 chakras, the crown, the third eye, and the throat, it is said to have more divine or heavenly energies or higher intelligence behind it. So then the key is with the heart is to have a balanced heart so that we are able to turn our pure energy and vitality, our kundalini or our sexuality, our prana, turn that into a creative force that we are using of service. And that is the key with having the balanced chakras and going through your kundalini awakening, is going through the stages of purifying, cleansing, coming into shadow work integration of the different aspects of these centers of ourself. And then once we get that balanced and cleared, we are able to have more of that harmonious and crystallization, so to say, in this text. And then the last part I want to share is it also represents the consecration of spiritual principles and tangible reality, making abstract truths accessible and actionable. So when you think of spiritual principles, that can also be the higher eternal energy or the spiritual heavenly energy or divine father energy. And then if you notice the heart chakra symbol, if I can go ahead and find the heart chakra symbol for you guys. The heart chakra symbol is what we would call the Star of David. Now, really, it goes way beyond the meaning of the Star of David. But when you check it out right here, that symbol right in the center, it looks like the Star of David. But in the context of the heart chakra, what this symbol means is a upside down triangle and a right side up triangle overlapping each other. And with them overlapping, one is representing your lower nature, one is representing your higher nature, one is representing the divine mother pole, one is representing the divine father pole, overlapping, balancing each other simultaneously in synchronization. And that is the symbolic representation through geometry, light, and sound of the heart chakra being the balancing point of our higher and lower self. And then when you take that from being a 2-dimensional flat image and you bring it into a multi-dimensional image, it then turns into your Merkaba, or the Merkaba light body. And then that's a whole nother teaching in itself. So this heart chakra is definitely being brought up for a reason, this green ray and this green energy center with Ra. So last part is the Archangel and Ascended Master. So each divine ray of light has basically different position holders that represent and express this ray of light into our universal dimensions to be able to experience. So an archangel is basically a overwatcher that does not incarnate in these lower realms as a human being. And they stay from their position, holding the attributes and being a form or a representation for the source to be able to express and hold the attributes into reality, so to say. If you want to say reality, or I should say in the sense of a material universe. So then you have an ascended master. An ascended master is a light being, a soul that decides to go through human incarnations on this planet. And as they go through the human incarnations, they go through earth lessons. And then through their karma and dharma, they basically graduate from these earth lessons, like Dolores Cannon and others talk about. And that's what makes them, quote unquote, an ascended master, is they went through their human trials and tribulations. And then going through their human trials and tribulations, they then vibrationally and energetically, on a soul level, were able to then take a different position and no longer have to go through these incarnations. So then as an ascended master, they just hold different qualities of helping us remember and come into contact with different aspects of our one consciousness. And the thing is, it's all one. It's all one stream. It's different positions being held in order to make the whole entire system sustainable and continuous. Remembering that it's all the one source at the same time. So then we have Archangel Raphael, Archangel of healing and protection. And then you have Ascended Master Hilarion, a teacher of truth, science, and divine law. And then it says the practical ways to invoke. In prayer and meditation with the green ray, it can strengthen the ability to perceive and act from truth. It can radiate healing energy to self and others. It can break down mental and emotional crystallizations, aka limiting beliefs. A common green ray prayer asks for the perfection of truth and the power to be a balm of light for all beings. Wow. The green ray. And over to you.
The green ray. Your heart chakra. The center of merging your 3 lower chakras with your 3 upper chakras. We are energy in the form of body and mind, and we came to experience. We didn't come to kill our egoic self, our 3 lower chakras. We didn't come to neutralize them. We came to understand them. Our higher selves, our soul selves, came to be taught by them about this place that we're in. Your ego is not your enemy, though it can be upon time, depending on what position you give your egoic self. But your ego is explaining to you everything that is going on in the outside realm of physicality. It's bringing it back into you. It's giving you its version of what's going on. And the moment that you have an awakening, your higher self starts asking questions of it. Well, why do you feel that way? Well, how can we make us feel better? It starts asking questions, and the chakra energy starts answering through how you feel in your body. This is why Ra is telling them it's not simply about the archetype and what you call the archetype. Because he asked, the fourth archetype is called the Emperor. Now, if you go back to your tarot cards, it's called the Emperor. But Ra is saying that's about what you perceive. So if you go beyond what you perceive and you have a question that's why your feelings are so important. They shouldn't be negated. It's, yes, we are body, mind, and soul. And everything starts with the thought or the mind, but it's not only about the mind. The mind gets to ask a question. And your body gets to say, well, you asked this question. I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. And then your ego is saying, oh, I'm getting ready to find out why we're feeling so uncomfortable. And your higher self says, well, I'm learning about, is this what I'm about to learn about why I came? See, because for a very short time, we have been told by others why we came, why we're here, why we should be this, or why we should be that, or why we should do this, or why we should eat this, or why we should eat that, or why we should drink this. And then when your higher self just has an inkling to say, but why? All of a sudden it opens up new territory. And your ego says, oh shit, we're about to go deep. We're about to dive. Oh, Sandee's about to really leave because she's got some other questions in her body saying, well, why do I feel like I'm about to throw up because I'm about to go out and speak to 1,000 people? Is this a good feeling to have, or is it a feeling that I need to work on, or do I need to go into meditation, or what? It's part of your life story. It's not just about the archetype or the label of the archetype. It's about what you find out about it and how it's going to work for you, how it's going to vibrate for you. What is it going to show you? Where is that light going to take you next? Are we ready for the next question? Ross says, this is session 79. It was February 24th, 1982. I am Ra. I greet you in love and in the light of the one infinite creator. We communicate with you now. The questioner says, could you first give me the condition of the instrument? I am Ra. It is as previously stated. The questioner says, the instrument would like to ask if there is any danger in the instrument receiving too much transferred energy in her present condition. I am Ra. No. The questioner, she would like to know the function of the energy transfer during this session. I am Ra. The function of this energy transfer is a most helpful one that that it serves to strengthen the shuttle through which the in-stream contact is received. The contact itself will monitor the condition of the instrument and cease communication when the distortions of the instrument begin to fluctuate between or towards the distortion of weakness or pain. However, while the contact is ongoing, the strength of the channel through which this contact flows may be aided by the energy transfer of which you spoke. Questioner: we have been ending our banishing ritual prior to the session by a gesture that relieves us of the magical personality. I was just wondering if we should maintain this personality and omit that gesture while we are walking the circle of one, and then relinquish the magical personality only if the circle is formed or after sessions, which would be more appropriate. I am Ra. The practice of magical working demands the most rigorous honesty. If your estimate of your ability is that you can sustain the magical personality throughout this working, it is well. As long as you have some doubt, it is inadvisable. In any case, it is appropriate for the instrument to return its magical personality rather than carry this persona into the trance. It does not have the requisite magical skill to function in this circumstance, and would be far more valuable than if the waking personality is offered as channel. This working is indeed magical in nature in the basic sense. However, it is inappropriate to move more quickly than one's feet may walk. The reason why Ra wanted me to read that to you is sometimes we go in to work with or for others before we're ready. Start where you're at. Growth and expansion. I know when I started my light language, all I knew was that the language was there. I knew nothing about teaching it to others. I knew nothing about the translation of it. But as long as I stuck to what I knew felt right for me, and I could be engaged with it, I know it was for my highest and greatest good and for my calling. I knew that I would be able to move into the next step. The questioner says, I would like to question about the third density experience of those entities just prior to the original extension of the first distortion to the sublogi, or that means the sublogis, logis, all the sub logis that they were talking about, to create the split of polarity. Can you describe in general the differences between the third density experience of these mind-body spirits and the ones who have evolved upon this planet? I am Ra. This material has been previously covered. Please query for specific interests. I love Ra. We already went over this. They had three books prior. So now you're going to have to be specific about what you're asking. The questioner says, specifically in the experience where Only the service to other polarity in third density evolved. Was the veil that was drawn with respect to knowledge or previous incarnations and or etc. in effect for those entities? Are you ready? I am raw. No. With a period. The questioner. Was the reincarnational process like the one that we experienced here, in which the third density body is entered and ex- excited numerous times during the cycle? I am raw. This is correct. Questioner. Is it possible to give a time of incarnation with respect to our years, or would you do so, or no, I'm sorry, and would you do so if it is? So they're asking, can you give us in respect how many years? How many years does this take? If you can, would you do that? I am wrong. The optimal incarnative period is somewhere close to a measure you call a millennium. This is, as you may say, a constant regardless of other factors of the third density experience. Questioner. Then prior to the first extension of the first distortion, the veil, or loss of awareness did not occur. From this, I will make the assumption that this veil or loss of remembering consciously that which occurred before the incarnation was the primary tool for the extending of the first distortion. Is this correct? I am wrong. Your correctness is limited. This was the first tool. Questioner. Then from that statement, I assume that the Logos first devised the tool of separating the unconscious from the conscious during what we call physical incarnation to achieve its objective. Is this correct? I am wrong. Yes. Period. The questioner. Then from that statement, I would also assume that many other tools were conceived and used after the first tool of the so-called veil. Is this correct? I am wrong. There have been refinements. Period. Questioner. The archetypal mind of the Logos prior to this experiment in veiling was what I would consider to be less complex than it is now, possibly containing fewer archetypes. Is this correct? I am wrong. We must ask your patience. We perceive a sudden flare of the distortion known as pain in this instrument. Left arm and manual appendage. Please do not touch this instrument. We shall examine the mind complex and attempt to reposition the limb so that the working may continue. Then please repeat the query. "90 seconds, pause, and then Ra says, I am Ra. You may proceed." The questioner says, "Thank you. Prior to the experiment to extend the first distortion, how many archetypes were there at that time?" I am wrong. There were 9. Questioner. I will guess that those 9 were 3 of mind, 3 of body, and 3 of spirit. Is this correct? I am wrong. This is correct. Questioner. I am going to guess that in the system of the tarot, those archetypes would roughly respond to, for the mind, the magician, the emperor, and the chariot. Is this correct? I am wrong. This is incorrect. Questioner, would you tell me what they respond to? I am wrong. The body, the mind, and the spirit each contain and function under the aegis of matrix, potentiator, and significator. The significator of the mind, body, and spirit is not identical to the significator of the mind, body, and spirit complexes. Questioner. I now understand that you meant in the previous session by saying that to extend free will, the significator must become a complex. It seems that the significator has become the complex that is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th of the mind, the 10th on the body, and the 17th on the spirit. Is this correct? I am wrong. This is incorrect. Over to you, Marcus.
Wow. Low guy and sub low guy. As they say, as above, so below. As within, so without. The low guy is a placeholder for the sub low guy to be able to experience. And then at the same time, vice versa, if it wasn't for the sub low guy, then the low guy would not be able to experience itself. And that's that yin and yang energy right there of, yes, one may have created the other, but at the same time, without it being created to be experienced through and as, then there would be no experience to experience as. And that's the beauty, that's the compliment that as above has for below, while below has for above. And it's simultaneously taking place. I love that. I love when Ra talks about the low guy. And to ultimately remember too that we are low guy. We are low guy, we are sub low guy, depending on what role and aspect of our life we're looking at. You know, in some ways, we're playing the main low guy. Say we host something or we own a home. You know, we're like the main low guy of that container, that square space. But then you then go into, say, a community space or a workforce, and then you become a sub low guy. of a bigger logi while contributing to that bigger logi. So there's many ways to look at these things and how they just fractal throughout the universe from higher to lower dimensions in different forms. But it's the patterns and the synchronicities. And it's so beautiful to be able to see it in so many ways. And to not only see it in so many ways, but be able to do it with free will. Free will while being in these laws of energy. And I've been really grateful lately for really just being able to travel and being able to get out and experience things different. And as I go out and travel and experience things lately, there's been a common theme though. That common theme is that there's this like universal connection. And no matter where you go, you just seem to attract and you just seem to draw exactly what is like of your mind and like of your heart. And that oneness right there, that 0 point, I should say, that universal connection is so beautiful to be present with. And I'm just so grateful for our messengers. Grateful for Ra. Grateful for these human vessels that chose to put these books together for us. And we're really in such a interesting time on this planet. I know we've probably been saying that for a while, but things are getting very interesting now. Very interesting. And it's almost feeling like the wall is just being broken down. No more walls at all, and just really seeing multidimensional life. Because it is an interesting time. A lot of things that a lot of us have been aware of, it's kind of no longer becoming a conspiracy theory. So it's a fun time right now. And from here, things are going to only get more interesting. Stars and all, Logan says.
Exactly.
The stars and all.
When we're looking out at the outside, at the world, whether you're watching TV or the news or scrolling, the pendulum will always swing all the way forward, but it swings back. You just have to decide where you're going to be when it swings back. Genghis Khan had his time, and then he didn't. The vibration of his time moved out of the way for growth and for expansion. Nothing lasts forever. We're looking at something, a part of the world that we don't like right now. Be fixated on what you would like instead of that, and then vibrate that way. Because it is going to come to a close, and the universe is going to say, what do you want now? Not what do they want, but what do you want? You want peace? What does peace look like for you? Show the universe what peace looks like for you. You may not be able to go to the other country and do the peace there. But what does peace look like for you? What would you want to hold space for someone out in another country? What does peace look like? How do you want it to vibrate? And are you ready to say, if that's what they want, then let me send some peace that way. I got some energy that I'm going to send that way. I'm going to hold some space for them. And if that's not what they want, let it be so, and take that vibrational energy and move it somewhere else. Because I guarantee you, change says, I'm happening anyway. It's the only constant that the universe knows how to do is completely change, completely do a 360, a 380, whatever you call that. Grow and expand. That's what Ra is telling you. It doesn't matter whether you call it an emperor, or whether you call it a guru, or that's our perception. The cards, the tarot cards, are given to you as information. You do what you vibrate to do with it. It's not telling you an exact. Not only just the tarot cards, but the oracle cards. Not just your gurus that you go to, or your ministers that you go to, or your politicians, or they're giving you information. What you do with it is how you create for you. Don't stop creating because the world, it seems like it's falling apart, and then somebody says, well, you can't be happy right now because the whole world is going to shit. Who are they to tell you that you can't smile today? Who are they to tell you that you can't enjoy the fact that you woke up and that your body is healing itself 24/7, and you're excited about that? You're excited about doing your lives. You're excited about writing your books. You're excited about going on your runs or your walks, or going on your vacations, and living your life, living your best life too. This is what Ra is saying. It's perception. And perception for one person is different than a perception for another person. While I'm watching Marcus and him break out and enjoy his movements and his festivals, right? I'm also going through myself going, oh, I love that. I love that for him. I love that for him. But I was also having a moment of not why me, but what now? Doesn't mean that he can't go out and enjoy and explore and become and build his platforms, just because I'm having this moment over here. I grew and I expanded with him. Why? Because I'm consciousness, and I'm not just part of me, I'm part of him. Most of us have come into this vibration unconsciously, or veiled. I'd like to use that word, veiled, so that we could start. It's God saying, I don't see myself right now, this very moment, but as soon as I start living some life, I'm going to see me. How fair would that be for me to know me? I wouldn't get to enjoy all the experiences, all the growth. all the likes, all the dislikes. That's why the veil had to be created. And one person gets to grow and expand in a story, and another person gets to grow and expand in another story that's kind of similar, but it's a different person. It's the divine saying, I'm being myself as Sandee, and I'm being myself as Marcus, and I'm being myself as Logan, and I'm being myself as Pietro. I'm being myself as PWAC. I'm being myself as all these various people doing these various things, and the choices that you're making aren't right or wrong. You get to decide where they sit for you, so that you can go and make another decision. It's the divine being, or the creator, or God, or whatever your label is, or perception is. Being itself saying, I see this, I feel this, I know this. Oh, now I know more of this. Okay, time to grow. Oh, wow. Time to shift. Oh, wow. It swung all the way forward. Now it's coming back. What next? Every government everywhere around the world for a millennia or more has changed. It has grown. It has shifted. It has declined. It has risen, and it has fallen. That's how we got to be here now. So I hope that this reading today will help those that are here now and those that will be part of the replay. Because Earth Consciousness, she hasn't given up anything. She's given us everything. She isn't desolate. She isn't demanding. Earth Consciousness knows how to cleanse her body. She'll be here long after mankind has left this vibrational dimension. When I first started to meditate, she came to me, she told me that. She said, no worries about me. I know how to cleanse myself. That's what my volcanoes are for. I know how to cleanse myself. That's what my earthquakes are for. I know how to cleanse myself. That's what a hurricane is for. And tornadoes are for. The planet, the living planet, was given us so that we can experience life on. Sometimes we just make fucking mistakes. But Earth Consciousness says, I know how to make a clarion call. Growth, evolution, that's what we're all here for. And we got Ra. They came to give us the cheat codes. Go read the Divine Design, where Ra holds back so that he doesn't overstep our free will. That book was channeled so that you could know exactly where Ra was giving you the titles and the outlines, to know all about aliens and reptilians, to know everything about what was going on 15,000 years ago that was not scientifically explained to you, but that became spiritually explained to you. And to let you know that there is no alien anywhere that can do anything to you without your permission. Your free will is the get out of its way card. And it knows that. But it knows when you know that, it needs to go run and hide because you found out how powerful you are. And there's nothing fucking it can do for you or to you. And that's what Ra is saying. Ra is saying, if you're having dreams and you're going and doing astral travel, you better know what you're doing. Because you're opening up doors. And they know if you open the door and you don't know what you're doing, you can invite them in. And they go, come. They know they're supposed to stay in the fourth dimension. But if you go playing and leave the door open and you're exacting fear over it, they got you. They know the rules better than anyone. Why? Because they are the consciousness of the divine being them. They are no different than you are. They just know the rules a little bit better. So with that said, I have been so excited to read this. We are going to continue, hopefully next week. Same Raw channel, same Raw time. Hopefully, Marcus. Whew.
That's right. Same Raw channel, same Raw time. 8 p.m. Eastern. Next Wednesday. We will see you guys then. And we thank you guys. We thank you guys for just being a part of such a beautiful space and such a beautiful time with us. And as we close out, thank you guys. And tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, if you would like. Grand Rising with Christolight. As we're going to talk about the archetype and the origin story of Anubis, the wounded healer, the shaman, so to say. And along with that, you guys can tune in Friday, 10:44 a.m. Eastern, to check out Unite the 144, where you can learn a little bit about the gene keys, as well as the Maya galactic wave spell. Sandee, you got anything coming up?
I am a work in progress right now. I was going to try to move everything really quickly, but I got to do what the divine said to do, which is slow my roll. What I do have coming up in, hopefully not this week, but next week, I will be on Instagram, 30 minutes to 40 minutes. A live meditation is called Star Meditation with Light Language. And you'll get the notification. I'm just working on what day the divine wants me to do this. I thought it was Sunday, and then I'm just kind of, I thought it was Sunday, and then it was Tuesday, and now it's Tuesday and Thursday, and I just want to be sure before I put notifications out. And then hopefully I will be back to doing my solutions workshop on my YouTube and Facebook. next week as well. We'll see. Work in progress. Thank you guys for being patient with me.
And thank you, Sandee, for being you. All right, everyone.
One love.
Have a blessed night and one love. Unlocking the codes, unraveling the DNA, the cosmic history, unveiled, the galactic Maya, wave spell, gene keys, synchronizing, the harmony as we rise and unite, the 144, hosted by Phoenix Returns, Mondays and Fridays, 10:44 a.m. Eastern.